Guys, welcome to a new video. Today the topic is again about semen retention. Well, I will also have a few other topics in line that are completely on a different, in a different niche. But yeah, so today we are gonna have a look at why semen retention is so important, or basically what kind of benefits you're getting, or why basically everyone should be doing this. So, as I was talking about in my last video where I talked about female attraction, so if you're interested in that, you can check that out. A major driving factor for people is that, for men, when starting with semen retention, is that they want to get better with women, or also that they just wanna be more disciplined and that they just want to be motivated in their craft and like focus on their goals, whatever. But why is semen retention helping with discipline? So just think about it. What is the hardest habit that you could quit? What would be the hardest one? Like, of course, there are some basic things that you need to do, like eating, drinking, but all sexual things are not necessarily needed to survive. I mean, in a broader context, like at a certain point you should reproduce and have children, right? So that it's still in some way an existence thing, right? But the thing is this: if your life is not that great right now and you have some bad habits, then if you drop your habit that is like makes you feel the best, or is like in the short term the thing that gives you the best feeling, like something that's really feeling good in the short term, if you're able to control that habit, then you can control everything else about yourself, right? And then the thing about eating habits, or like whatever, gaming, alcohol, drugs, or something like that, those things are all way easier to quit, right? Because this is just the habit that people don't wanna quit, right? And if they're able to quit that and control that, then they can control all the other habits, and that's how it went for me. And that's why it's so crucial for discipline to at least do this for a certain while. As it was really helping me to get control over the other habits, or the other bad habits that I had. I mean, I was gaming, I of course was into alcohol, but I mean, that's all quite some years ago already. And yeah, just one thing, if you're doing semen retention, I really recommend you to not drink alcohol. Like I had some longer streaks, and then one day I drank alcohol, and the next day then is like you're not able to balance this. Like it's like you're working on those good habits, you're like detoxifying, you're probably also improving with your nutrients and generally what you eat, but it's like you can't then take this poison into you anymore. Like it completely fucks up your energy, like for real. It's you shouldn't be doing that. And it's just, I mean, right now I'm not really watching any videos of other guys that are talking about semen retention, maybe here and there. But there was one guy, I don't know, he was doing some podcast, I think, and I watched this probably like half a year ago or 1 year ago. And first he was like saying some good things, I felt like we were kind of matching, but then something felt off and I didn't understand, because sometimes if someone is on a similar journey as you are, and then they're talking about stuff, and then they're talking about things that you understand that you are farther in your journey, that you have learned more, because you understand that they are still stuck on a certain lesson, and you think, wait, why didn't they figure this out? And then I was like, wait, this guy was even doing semen retention for longer than me. Like, I was like, why is this guy stuck? And then he said he's still drinking alcohol, he's a workaholic. And then I was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, you're just making it way harder for yourself. Like, this is not a healthy way of practicing semen retention. It's also a spiritual thing, because if you do this long enough, you have to go into spirituality, because all in all, it's about energy, and you need to transmute it, and you need to pull it upwards. You need to understand the basics of the energy centers, the chakras, and your root chakra, and you will figure out that there's some energy there, and you need to, like, there's one way to get this energy out if you do sexual things, but there's then also other ways to transmute this energy, use it, and use it for your own good, and not actually just waste it. And yeah, that's also a very important thing to understand, that you need to learn how to transmute your energy. And on semen retention, it's kind of you become a producer. You know, you can't sit around all day and watch YouTube. Like, it's you might can do it, but it just feels so weird that it I don't know. You can maybe do that for a few hours, but the whole day, I don't think that's possible. Like, you just want to do something. You wanna produce more than you consume, because you realize that consuming is not getting you anywhere. It's just short-term satisfaction sometimes, and it's not healthy. A little bit is healthy. I'm not saying you can't do anything anymore. Like, of course, I'm also a bit on social media and watching things, and sometimes something is funny, and that's fine. But just limit a bit those time that you spend on such things. So ultimately, there are a few issues in the world, also in dynamics between females and men. And I think that there's just this big problem with lust that men have. And it's like they wanna do something with women, and they have all those sexual ideas and thoughts, and they want to express that. And it's all those adult websites and social media are kind of pushing this lust thing even in an unhealthy way, because I think all those visual content, it shouldn't exist, because it just makes it worse. And it's just very unhealthy, I think. I think a lot of men are just trying to get with women and sleep with them, and it's just not right. And then the women are disgusted, and the women think that there are no good men out there, and the men are just feeling like nobody wants them. I mean, some of them probably. I think it's right now it's getting worse over time. I think there's actually quite a large percentage of men who actually are, I don't know, I didn't look at some statistics, but it was like, I think around 50%. I don't know, but I think it just gets worse over time, that less men find relationships and find women that like them, whatever. Maybe it also has to do that the standards of women are just getting higher and higher. because they feel like they get all this attention. And yeah. So the point that I wanted to make is that semen retention can actually heal this, because men will start to respect themselves. They will learn about discipline. They will become more masculine. They will try to do workouts. They need to spend their energy. If they're really serious about these things and they work on themselves, then they just become self-centered. And they now go for what they want, and not just what they want in the short term, but actually what they want out from their life. And women will just then find them more attractive, because that's just more of the masculine frame, right? And so this would heal the man, and then ultimately it would also heal the women with them, because a woman who is going, it would heal the women with them, because it's just very natural, right? If you have such a guy with you as a woman, then naturally you will just, I think his masculine energy then actually heals you, and also the perspective on the world, right? Because it's all about perspective. Like if a woman is talked to by other men very frequently, and it's kind of always the same kind of man, because they just attract that kind of man, then they think that all men are like this. But you know, once they realize that this is not the case, they're just attracting this kind of man because of their frequency, then, and they work on those things, then yeah, things can definitely change. And yeah, so I think we just need to get more and more people into this whole thing of semen retention, and tell them that sex is something that is not just here for fun. And yeah, it's just wrong to do any sexual things, to be honest. Like with the right person, maybe not. So I again have a little bit of a different perspective on this. I'm even not sure if I'm the only one in the world, because I have a kind of a different perspective now. So when I meet the right woman, I think I will understand pretty quickly if she's the right one for me. But I still want to live a few years without doing any sexual things. And yeah, I think it's just important. I really just want to do those things with one woman and not multiple in my lifetime. So I know it's also a risk, so to say, right? Because I'm not doing, I'm not engaging with women that much and so on. And it can also be a risk, but I just know in my heart that I have to do this. And it just feels right. It just feels right, even if maybe no one else thinks in the same way. And then probably after a few years, I feel like we need some ritual of deciding, like it's kind of a marriage, but not a real marriage. So what I personally think about marriage, like in a certain way, I am a Christian. Like I respect the Christian religion, and I still believe you should do something like a marriage, but you don't have to do it official. Like even if you look it up in the Bible, like there's nothing written that you need, that the government is involved or the church is involved. It's like there's a vow in front of God, and it's a public thing in a public setting. And like, yeah, with friends and families, I guess. So you don't have to, it's just this modern way. I don't know, it feels wrong to do it in the church. I don't know. So what I was thinking about, I was thinking of having like he is going up to her and is doing like a proposal or something. I don't know if it's again on the knee or whatever. I don't even know if that's the right thing. I mean, it's a common way of doing it, but whatever. But in some way they just ask themselves, if it's the man asks the woman or the woman asks the man, I don't know. And then basically they will have some ritual that after some time after that proposal happened, if they say yes, then they will have some ritual. After a few weeks, after a few months, they will go somewhere, maybe travel somewhere, and you then have some proposal, some ritual that you're really now deciding you are the right person for each other. And then once that is done, you inform friends and families, and then you do like an unofficial marriage where again there's some ritual happening. Yeah. So that in theory it is in accordance with the Bible, that you say, yeah, it's a vow in front of God, and it's in a public setting, and yeah. That's my current idea of the whole thing. Maybe it will still be a normal, usual marriage, but I think this could be a good thing. And then once you did this like unofficial marriage in the public setting, in theory you now can engage in sexual things, but you don't have to. Like, depends what your decision is. Maybe your decision is even to just really just when you actually want to have kids, you know, that you don't do it for fun, so to say. Yeah, but we will see. So if this is a perspective that you don't like, that's completely fine. Like, I know it's a bit I don't know if there are any other people who have a similar perspective on this, because I guess it's quite uncommon. But yeah, so I guess that's already everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. If you liked some ideas, or if you got if you're now more interested into this whole semen retention topic, then of course you can follow me. I think I've also linked my other social media in the description, and I also have the link to my blog if you want to check that out. And yeah, then I would say see you next time, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.